He's deep down in that burrow, isn't he? It's sort of hard to retrieve yourself out of that.
Well, that interview sparked widespread backlash, with a new poll revealing a majority of Brits want to see Harry stripped of his HRH title. For more, we're joined by royal expert
All right, well, the rift in the royal family is once again in the spotlight, with Prince Harry airing his grievances to the world after losing a security battle.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point.
The Crown has spoken, and this time, there are no second chances. After years of interviews, bombshell documentaries, tell-all books, and emotional appeals, Prince Harry might be facing the one thing he never expected: the complete and final erasure of his royal identity. Not just in public opinion, not just in headlines, but by law, yes. The British Parliament is now seriously moving to strip Harry of every remaining trace of royal privilege. No more HRH, no more Duke of Sussex, and no more fallback ties to the institution he walked away from. This isn't about scandal anymore. This isn't about Meghan's podcast or a viral clip on Netflix.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH. Now, royal fans will know in 2020, during the negotiations for Harry and Meghan to leave royal duties, it was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it.
This is a reckoning, a real legal motion being considered in the halls of power. And the message from the monarchy? Enough is enough. It all started with a spark, but that spark has turned into a wildfire. Following Prince Harry's latest high-profile interview, where he openly stated he can't see a world, where he'd return to the UK with Meghan and their children, British public opinion reached a boiling point. A new poll revealed that the majority of Brits now believe Harry should be stripped of his royal status completely. No more honorary titles. No more symbolic grace. Just a clean cut. And this time, it's not just the usual internet noise. Politicians, commentators, and royal insiders have started to echo what once seemed unthinkable. Maybe it's time to make it official. Maybe Harry should no longer be a prince. The cracks began back in 2020 when Harry and Meghan formally stepped back from royal duties. Queen Elizabeth made one thing explicitly clear during the so-called Sandringham Summit: they would no longer use their HRH titles.
To the Duke of Sussex, having stepped back from royal duties and having left the UK to live principally overseas. So the conclusion, in my judgment, with which my colleagues, Lord Justices Bean and Edis, agreed, was that the Duke of Sussex's appeal would be dismissed.
That wasn't a punishment. It was tradition, precedent, and policy. Working royals get the titles. Those who walk away don't. It was meant to preserve dignity and keep the monarchy above drama. But in recent months, Meghan has been spotted casually referencing her HRH status in professional circles and press materials. Royal watchers noticed, critics pounced, and suddenly that quiet understanding from 2020 has started to look like a violated pact. The Crown doesn't take that lightly. Now it's official. The British House of Lords, the upper chamber of Parliament, is reviewing a formal motion that could strip Prince Harry of his remaining titles. This is no tabloid tantrum. This is no PR stunt. This is governance. The Lords, comprised of hereditary and appointed peers, are using the power of legislation to answer a question that's haunted the royal institution for years.
Jeffrey said the Duke of Sussex's arguments were powerful and moving, and it was plain that he felt badly treated by the system, but he could not say that Prince Harry's grievance translated into a legal argument for a challenge.
What do you do with a royal who won't stop attacking the crown but still benefits from it? If passed, this motion wouldn't just be symbolic. It would legally remove the Duke of Sussex title and end any HRH styling Harry may still benefit from. This would be the monarchy speaking not in whispers, but in the language of law. A cold, calculated strike from an establishment that's clearly had enough. Behind the scenes, insiders say King Charles didn't want this. For months, even years, he held back, keeping the door cracked open for peace. Despite everything, the Oprah interview, the memoirs Spare, the docu-series attacks, Charles remained publicly quiet. But make no mistake, this motion didn't appear out of nowhere. The king isn't leading the charge, but he's not standing in its way either. That, in royal terms, is monumental. Charles is allowing the legal machine to move forward. And by doing so, he's making his position crystal clear. The crown comes first, even before his own son. For a monarch who has often been seen as cautious, even passive, this is a defining moment. A father becoming a king.
This is what Sir Geoffrey Voss had to say in court as he summed up the decision.
The decisions taken in the decision letter and subsequently were taken, I said in my judgment, as an understandable and perhaps predictable reaction.
While Meghan Markle isn't officially named in the current motion, the consequences for her are impossible to ignore. As the Duchess of Sussex, her public image, her brand, and even her business ventures are still tied to a royal identity that was supposed to be left behind. If Harry's titles are removed by law, the ripple effect will inevitably reach her. Without Harry's dukedom, Meghan's use of the Duchess title becomes an empty label, one with no official standing. And that changes everything. Because despite building a brand on authenticity and activism, there's no denying the doors that opened simply because of the Sussex name. The global platform, the billion-dollar media interest, it all started with royal shine. And now that shine is about to be dimmed by force. This isn't just a royal family issue, it's a national conversation. Public opinion is split down the middle. Some see this motion as overdue justice, a necessary line drawn to preserve the monarchy's dignity.
Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has lost the latest stage of his court battle over the level of security protection he receives in the UK. His taxpayer-funded protection was downgraded 5 years ago. The Duke says that as a result, it's too dangerous for him to bring his family to the UK.
They argue Harry walked away, criticized the system, and still cashed in on it. And that's not how duty works. Others are more sympathetic, saying the institution never protected him or Meghan from the relentless media attacks, and this is just more of the same punishment. But here's the truth. None of that will matter when it's time to vote. This decision won't be made based on headlines or Twitter trends. It will come down to power, precedent, and the protection of a centuries-old institution that doesn't bow to controversy. So what happens to the Sussex brand when the royal identity is stripped away? Right now, the name still carries weight, enough to ink million-dollar deals, fill stadiums, and dominate global headlines. But the crown isn't just a name, it's leverage, its legitimacy, and its legacy. Without that, the brand becomes something else entirely. Will Hollywood still call? Probably, but the aura will shift. Without the official titles, Meghan and Harry will have to stand solely on their merit, their content, their causes, their charisma.
Citing what he says is unjustified and inferior treatment. The 3 judges at the Court of Appeal rejected that today. They disagreed with his challenge, the 3 judges there, and they said that his appeal against the previous High Court decision would be turned down.
And that's a gamble. Because while the world loves authenticity, it also loves prestige. And once the gold-plated backing is gone, the question becomes, do people still listen? What makes this moment different is that it's no longer personal, it's precedent. We've seen royals step back before. We've seen scandals, divorces, even abdications. But we've never seen a senior royal, born into direct proximity to the throne, legally stripped of their titles by parliamentary law. That's not a family disagreement. That's history. The House of Lords isn't reacting to gossip columns. They're responding to what they view as a betrayal of constitutional values. A prince who traded duty for exposure, who monetized the monarchy while dismantling its mystique. They're not slamming the door, they're sealing it shut. Permanently. This is where the reality sets in. Once this motion passes, and insiders say it likely will, there is no way back.
Well, let's speak now to royal commentator and journalist Afia Hagan. Afia, good to have you with us on BBC News. What do you think the implications of this judgment are?
Well, this is going to be hugely disappointing for Prince Harry. We know how serious he was about this particular court case.
Royal titles, once removed by law, can't just be restored with a handshake or photo op. It would take an unprecedented reversal by both Parliament and the monarchy. That means Prince Harry will no longer be a duke, an HRH, or a royal in any formal sense. Just Harry. Just a man with a memoir and a microphone. And if that sounds harsh, that's because it is. This is how the crown responds when its authority is challenged. Not with gossip, but with governance. The long game is ending and the monarchy is making its final move. And now, we wait. The world watches as Prince Harry stands at the edge of something irreversible. The man who walked behind his mother's coffin, who grew up under relentless public scrutiny, who said he wanted peace, freedom, and truth, may soon be stripped of every connection to the only world he ever knew. Not by exile, not by scandal, but by the cold hand of law. King Charles, once torn between father and monarch, has made his choice. And the crown has drawn its line in the sand. If Harry is on the wrong side of it, so be it. This isn't revenge, it's restoration. It's the monarchy reminding everyone that no matter how modern the world becomes, there are still some rules you don't break without consequences. And now, Harry is finding out what those consequences really look like.